Hello and welcome. Plenty to talk about as always with Indian cricket. Never ceases to amaze you. Gargi's story from an hour back about meteorological departments being contacted and reports being submitted to the BCCI.
Quite intriguing.
Fascinating, I have to say. I mean, I read the story. CAB submitting regional Met Department reports, speaking to Mausam Bhavan in Delhi, submitting it to the BCCI, and that's why maybe, as she writes, that's why maybe the final schedule has not been announced just yet. Absolutely a fascinating story. Bharat Ramraj joins us as well. The other story that we want to talk about here, part of this debate, is the Indian team for England. Now that there is no Virat Kohli, there is no Ajinkya Rahane. Now that there is no Ajinkya Rahane and there is no Virat Kohli, sorry, there is no Rohit Sharma, no Virat Kohli. Will the selectors want to look at someone like Ajinkya Rahane? The look of it, from the look of it, they don't want to look back. And we are making it very clear as I set up this debate. Sachin Chaudhary, when you say no chance, I know where you're coming from. And I absolutely understand where you're coming from. On the face of it, the selectors or the mood is not one to look back. The mood is not. But when you see a Yashasvi Jaiswal, a Sai Sudarshan, a Sarfaraz, or possibly players like that in your team in the middle order, and then you realize there is enough fragility and enough fragility and enough inexperience. Ajinkya Rahane last 3 years has played almost every domestic game, has won an Irani trophy, has won a Ranji trophy, playing the IPL for Kolkata every single game. No question on his fitness. At his age, many are playing around the world. So why not Ajinkya Rahane is the question that we are tabling. Does he have a chance? Does he not? We are not going to take a position, just debate this issue from both sides. I'll start with you, Gargi Raut. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I have been tracking, these India A and India main squad selections, and there have been a lot of details that have been put out from me. And out of the very first couple of pieces that I did, or the news breaks that I did, it was very, very clear. The sources that I spoke to, it was a clear-cut no from the selectors when they were asked about whether or not you want to look back to players like a Chiteshwar Pujara or an Ajinkya Rahane. Their idea was to go ahead. Their idea is to look into the future now and never look back. That's what they're thinking about. Because even when it came to captaincy, obviously, at that time before Virat Kohli had announced his retirement, there were murmurs around that Virat Kohli might just be asked to take up the captaincy or this or that, whatever. But the sources were very clear on the fact that the selectors do not want to look back, and the criteria for the team going forward, or especially the captain, is someone who can last out the entire WTC cycle. So you see where the priorities are for the selectors. At the same time, things were drastically different back then. Yes, Rohit Sharma had announced his retirement, but you still had a Virat Kohli in that dressing room. Now, when you look at the situation that is panning out right now, with Jasprit Bumrah playing only a maximum of 3 games, with no Virat Kohli, with no Rohit Sharma, there is a serious experience void in the dressing room. And we were also discussing this yesterday as well, that it's now when you look at it, it's really just Gautam Gambhir who's there, who will be calling the shots. So when you've got a young captain leading a a fairly inexperienced squad in the side, should you have someone like a Rahane in the team?
Okay.
Should you at least have someone like at least have him in the India A series? I think that is a point that can be taken up.
Bharat Ramraj, before I go to Shobik Chakraborty, who did a copy making this point yesterday that Ajinkya Rahane should not be overlooked as far as the India A team is concerned. Shobik's copy tracked very well. There's a lot of debate around it. Bharat Ramraj, where do you stand on it before I go to Shobik?
If you ask me, I'm not very sure. See, it's not like we have someone who has averaged 45 or 50 in Test cricket. With great respect to Rahane, he himself has averaged 38 in Test cricket. So it's not like we have Virat Kohli waiting in the wings who has been dropped. Maybe to an extent, Cheteshwar Pujara at his best was a very good Test cricketer. He could get into top 10 Test batsmen produced by India over 92 years. but not very sure of someone like Ajinkya Rahane in the Ranji Trophy as well. He averaged only 35 for Mumbai. That is over 9 matches. He scored 467 runs with 150. So his form in first class cricket has not been that good either. So I would say if India have to kind of move forward from these players. If Virat Kohli was available, definitely I will take him because he's someone who has that pedigree, though he has been on a downward slide. But still, if he was available, definitely I would have taken him. But not very sure of taking someone like Rahane. I would rather look at someone like Nitish Reddy, who scored a brilliant 100 in Australia, or a Sai Sudarshan, or someone else.
Okay. So Bharat Ramraj makes his position very clear. Shomik, where do you stand? I know you've done the copy, but clearly, I mean, you had made a point yesterday in the copy about Ajinkya Rahane's inclusion in the A team. Do you stand on that? That okay, give him an opportunity as part of the A team. Don't take him in the main squad just yet. But if he does very well, if his team, having said that, there is a problem there. If Mumbai, if Kolkata Knight Riders, but Kolkata Knight Riders will not make it. So in that sense, Shomik, your point is kind of valid that Kolkata Knight Riders will not make it, or largely will not make it, 1% chance. If they don't make it, if they lose tomorrow, day after, if they lose day after, they're gone. And if that is the case, Shomik, then Ajinkya Rahane absolutely has that opportunity. Where do you stand on this? Part of A team? Yes, no, set it up.
I think, see, first of all, I think they will pick a 16-member squad, not an 17 or 18-member squad, unlikely
Agreed.
to be a blow. Because the India A squad is the shadow squad. India A squad is the shadow squad. And, I mean, what's the harm in taking Ajinkya Rahane? See, at the end of the day, someone has played 85 test matches. Just running him down is pure nonsense. So from that point of view, it's the thing is that give me one leader in that dressing room except Jasprit Bumrah. Except Jasprit Bumrah. Shubman Gill, even if hypothetically we assume, although it's not an open and shut case, yes, but if we assume Shubman Gill is the next captain who averages below 30 on the road, if he fails in the first two tests, what will happen? Who who is there in that dressing room to lean to? Ajinkya Rahane is a proven leader, number one. Number two, last Ranji season was a moderate one for him. He scored 400 odd runs at an average of somewhere around 35 or 36. But in case of Rahane, a player with proven pedigree and experience, you don't look at the hard numbers. So from that point of view, I'm not telling him to directly take him into the Test squad. Although in 2023, based on his IPL performance, he was taken to the World Test Championship final. But three games India A will play: two against the Lions and one against the senior side, which is an intra side squad. Yeah, what is it called? Intra squad match or something. So from that point of view, if he score runs, if you are ruling someone out under the pretext that he is on the wrong side of 30, then why are you bringing back? Why are you intending to bring back Karun Nair, who hasn't played for India since 2017? So Ajinkya Rahane so far has batted well for KKR, and eh, as far as the young players are concerned, we have seen their mettle. We have seen the likes of Rajat Patidar and others in Test cricket. So there is no Sachin Tendulkar waiting in the wings. Or so from that point of view, it would be a very logical call to take him to India A side, to India, see how he plays. If he plays well, you will always have an option. What's the harm in having that option?
Okay. So this debate is quite beautifully set up. Bharat, by the way, Shomik, I don't think Bharat wanted to undermine his thing. All he was saying is at
I'll
this
set a
point,
point. Yeah, yeah. I'll
yeah,
set a point.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you. All he was trying to say is Ajinkya Rahane, rather than looking back, I mean, the quality of, say, Virat Kohli or somebody of that caliber, rather than that. So this is a very healthy both sides argument. Gargi also said something like basically experience and backing the Shomik kind of argument. So this is well set up. We have Bharat saying no, let's not look back. We have Shomik making an interesting point that I don't want in the main squad, but why not India A? Give him an opportunity for India A, give him the 3 games and let him kind of do it, because he's played county cricket, he's played multiple other things at domestic cricket. You said domestic cricket, and he's played every game of domestic cricket, so why not? Gargi has said that his experience will also come very handy in the Indian dressing room in the absence of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Bharat, you make your point, and then I'll go to her again.
I only have to make a point. Yeah, okay. See, the only thing I was saying is, see, with great respect, Rane. Yes, yes, scored a lot of enough hundreds, but it's not in the class of some Virat Kohli or on those lines. In my humble opinion, to go back to him at this point of time when he's 36, 37. Even if you look at his record in England, he's played 16 Test matches, averages 28.80 in England with 100. So again, I would say I would rather have someone like Nitesh Reddy or another youngster like Sai Sudarshan, because I'm pretty sure the 23-year-old, 25-year-old Nitesh Reddy will give you an average of 30 in England or on those lines. So I'm not very sure of going back to him, because I don't think he's in the caliber of someone like Virat Kohli to really look at him. Even if you look at his record in England, he's below 30's average.
We'll get a response from Shumik, but Gargi, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, there's this comment here by Shriyansh Jain who's saying, what I heard was that logistics was the main issue and not weather. They want to keep playoff within 6 venues only. Shriyansh, what you've heard is very wrong, because if that was the case, then CAB wouldn't have approached the Kolkata Met Department, the Indian Met Department, and asked for reports and sent it to BCCI to claim that there are no showers or, let's say, rain in the first week of June. So weather is the issue here, but we have to wait and watch how that unfolds at this point. But logistics is not the issue, it's the weather.
I can kind of concur on that. I think Shumik also will want to make a point, because this is something that he has also been tracking. Gargi broke this story with details that Met Department reports have now been said. But Shumik, why don't you weigh in and also sort of make a point on this particular issue, that CAB, from the standpoint of CAB, this is still not something that they've given up on, and from what we know, have made an impassioned plea to the BCCI. Shumik, your comment on this.
Rajendranath Goldar. In this current scenario, Goldar would have made the headlines every day with one comment or the other about the weather, about the possibilities of Eden Gardens hosting the playoffs and the final. But on a serious note, see, the fact of the matter is that I the official 2 days back, and I shared it with you also. He said, see, at this moment in time, we cannot afford washouts. So I told him that the fact you are talking about the onset of monsoon in Calcutta, but June 2 or 3, we never see. And being a Calcutta resident, I can confirm that June 2 or 3 is never the onset of monsoon in Calcutta. The monsoon comes after 15, not before that. But the weather pattern are so unpredictable. Yes, he reiterated that we haven't decided anything as yet. We will look into the weather projection for the next few days before deciding on it. So I asked him, is it confirmed that Ahmedabad would be hosting the final? He said, no, it is not confirmed. Once again, we will look into the weather projection. And in the next few days, because you cannot have a weather projection for more than 7 days. That is the common pattern. More than IMD doesn't give weather projections for more than 7 days. So BCCI will wait until that before coming with the with there have been venues have been shortlisted, and BCCI will have to do that. But they cannot have a reserve day for the final also, and given everything, they cannot have reserve days for the playoff also. So given everything, weather would be the main thing, and based on that, they will decide. At this moment in time, nothing has been finalized as yet. This is what I am told.
And Shomik, there is his first 2 points. First, there is historical data to prove that the first week of June is drier in Kolkata. The other is both departments, both the Kolkata Met Department and the Indian Met Department, have said that they cannot predict for June 2nd from now. They can only do that
Exactly,
after
7 days.
They can only do that after May 25th.
But there is a spoiler. What we have been hearing, that a cyclone is forming over the Bay of Bengal towards the final week of May. Once again, I don't know. The IMD carrying forward, the IMD Alipur Met Office is still carrying forward the legacy of Rajendranath Goldar. If they are still carrying forward the legacy of Rajendranath Goldar, I will not read too much into that cyclone warning. But now equipment is more scientific. We have we have clearer data and everything. So what people have been predicting, that the final week of May a cyclone is forming, sort of, it's not looking that good for Kolkata.
And Shamik, do you think BCCI has the time to wait till the 25th of May for the weather predictions from both departments, Met departments?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think they by 20th they will decide. Latest by 20th or 21st, latest they will decide. They have to, because you have to inform the broadcasters, full logistics there, everything. It cannot be done at the drop of a hat.
But let us say one point very clearly. Whatever anyone has said at this point in time, the decision is, it has not been decided yet. It has not been decided yet. So her story, or whatever Shomik is saying on this, stands. My understanding, my understanding is, it has not been decided yet. So wait for more intrigue. But in my 30 years of doing this, I have never seen Met Department reports being invoked to get a cricket match. Bharat, have you ever heard anything like this? Met Department reports being submitted to the BCCI to get a cricket match. Complete new thing for me, and not only regional. The National Met Department also weighing in and saying, we are referring the case back to the regional Met Department, who will help you in this matter. This is a fascinating turn of events, Bharat Ramraj.
Yeah, Yuvan, I'm trying to remember right through the storehouse of my memories to recall any such event over the last 33 years that I've watched cricket. I can't seem to remember one. Yeah, it is kind of very bizarre. Maybe there was a little bit of talk before the T20 World Cup final between England and Pakistan, whether it should be shifted or not. But obviously, it was not going to happen. The 2022 T20 World Cup final, because logistics and all. There's a lot of logistics and all, so you can't do that at the last minute. But this is very bizarre. I don't have much of an answer to it because I can't remember.
Chalo, your story, batao more if you want. Otherwise, we'll move on back to Rahane.
No,
Anything
but
else
this
you
is
want to add? This is intriguing.
very, very intriguing, that the fact that CAB, to keep this fight, they are not giving up at all. They are not giving up on wanting to host the final. And the fact that they first went to the Kolkata Met Department, who said that we can't possibly it is impossible to make predictions for the June 3rd from now on. Then they went to the Indian Met Department, who also said the same thing and referred the case back to the Kolkata Met Department. So this is the entire chain of events that happened. Now all of these papers, I don't know how huge or small they are, but these papers have now been sent and submitted to the BCCI, and now it's on to the BCCI to decide who gets the final.
Shomik, your reporting assignment tomorrow is Alipur Abhawa Daptar with a full detailed interview with the regional director. Tell us, what is the probability of rain on 3rd June? Is the cyclone coming? Yes or no? If it is not, why should Kolkata not? But this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
But I am desperately missing Rajendranath Goldar. If he were there, he could have predicted the weather pattern, everything, rainfall or everything for 2nd, 3rd of May, 3rd of June. Rajendranath Goldar had that ability. No one has that ability. He was a genius.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't know who Shomik is talking about, he is one of these cult figures in the history of meteorological predictions in Bengal. Anything that Rajendranath Goldar said, we would like, we would all laugh. I mean, with due respect, humility, no, this thing. But Rajendranath Goldar is an absolute cult. But I understand this. And the truth is, on a serious note, I don't think the BCCI has decided on it yet. Had they done that, they would have announced. They would have announced, and they haven't yet. I also know that this is a decision that will perhaps happen in the course of the next 5 days. So 5 6 days, but it's not a done deal just yet. So let's see how the final story kind of unfolds. Getting back to Ajinkya Rahane in our last 10 odd minutes, the debate is quite beautifully set up. So if there's no Rahane, it means that the selectors are not willing to look back at anyone. But then Shomik, the other such character who is, in terms of age, who has not been part of the side for the last couple of years, is Shardul Thakur. Now, if you want, from my understanding, Nitish Kumar Reddy is hardly in a position to bowl. Nitish Kumar Reddy has not bowled in the IPL much. Nitish Reddy in Australia hardly bowled, 4 overs, 5 overs. He was very slow in the pace, 125 whatever. He has been to NCA multiple times on his return to India since Australia, so has an issue. So clearly there is an injury concern. If they go with Nitish Reddy, my assumption will be Nitish Reddy will hardly bowl. So if you have, who is your option? Barring Shardul Thakur, name one player, Bharat Ramraj, Gargi Raut, Shomik Chakraborty, who can come and bowl 10, 12 overs a day in a test match arena and also get you 1 or 2 wickets and score 30, 40, 45 runs with some really good shots at number 7 or number 8. Does India have that kind of an option? Bharat Ramraj, you start, and then I'll go to Gargi and Shomik.
Here I kind of agree with you, sir, because see, it is all about paucity of resources. India don't have too many resources in this regard, and Shardul Thakur also did well in the Ranji Trophy, average some 22 for his 30 odd wickets. So he has been bowling reasonably well. So what they can really do is maybe push Nitish Reddy a little bit up the order. If they still want to pick Nitish Reddy, maybe push him a little bit up the order. Play him at number 6 if there is a spot available for him, and then pick someone like Shardul Thakur at number 8. So what you get, what you basically get is a bowling all rounder, which India definitely needs, and someone like Nitish Reddy who showed some kind of potential in Australia and can bowl a few overs. So you already have one spinner. You're going to play Ravindra Jadeja, so there's no need to play under spinner like Washington Sundar, which they tried at the ICG. I don't know why India did that. Pick both Washington Sundar and Jadeja at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So in this regard, I definitely agree. But as far as Rahane is concerned, as I noted, it's better to invest in youth because you have batters coming through the ranks, and it's better to invest in the youth. But in this regard, I don't think India have the resources. So better to go for Shardul Thakur.
Shardul Thakur? Is there anyone? Because I mean, I asked the question because also of the reason that he has been in the wilderness for the last couple of years. So if he can, then why not someone else? That's why. But do you reckon that there is anyone else in that number 7, number 8 position for India? Bharat agrees with this one. Where do you stand? I'll give Shomik the next. This thing.
I also 100% agree, and I've always look back on the time when India had a Hardik Pandya in the team. Ever since he left, you've never really been able to fill that void. Someone who can come in and look at how many overs Hardik Pandya used to bowl. Look at how much of a breather he used to give your pace bowlers, your fast bowlers. So when you have someone like a Shardul Thakur in your team, that also means that Bumrah can take a breather for a little bit of time. And especially after the way that he has performed in the Ranji Trophy, 35 odd wickets, he's also scored runs. Why not have Shardul Thakur in your team? The question right now is why not? Not why.
Shomik, your thoughts on this? Because Nitish Kumar Reddy's bowling honestly did not inspire much confidence in Australia. Batting, brilliant. that 100 will always be one of the most fantastic hundreds one can see. But if he was in the side to kind of bowl 10 overs, we didn't see that. Someone asked about Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar cannot be an answer, in Leeds on the 20th of June, where nothing will happen. I mean, you need a pace bowler who can move the ball, use the conditions, and that cannot be Washington Sundar. Shomik, where do you stand on this?
See, before the Australia series, when Ajit Agarkar did a press conference, he said we have moved on from Shardul Thakur. That is what he said at the presser. So that is a statement made in public. If they stick to that, I must say they have been carrying some kind of a dogma, in the sense that once you have reached a certain age, then you would no longer be considered. Then whatever is your exploits in domestic cricket or whatever, then will not be considered. So that is, if that is the thought process, I think that is very narrow. That is very narrow in the sense you cannot. Uh, we have seen many players who have gotten second wind when they are on the wrong side of 30. Shardul Thakur is a fighter. He doesn't ask for an inch. He doesn't give a quarter. Even on a very bad day, he will give you 100%. He is a fighter to the core, and he is as a bowler, he is far better than Nitish Reddy. He is a partnership breaker, and he has made over the years. He has made some handsome contributions, match-winning contributions with the bat for India and for Bombay. So just ruling him out under the pretext that he has reached a certain age, I don't think is the right thought process. At the end of the day, a good team is a mix of youth and experience. And if you are solely banking on youth, and I will briefly come to the Ajinkya Rahane fact, there is an assumption that after Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill will bat at number 4 and Sai Sudarshan. Now, think about Sai Sudarshan. He is a spring chicken who would be touring England for the first time. You are throwing him in at the deep end at number 3, which is never easy. The most important position in the batting order. A certain left-hander did that in 1996, back-to-back hundreds. But Saurabh Ganguly was a special talent, and that was an exception. You cannot. I mean, it is ideal for someone like Sai Sudarshan to be a reserve opener. You bed him in home series against West Indies, South Africa, and allow him to get into the groove. Now, if you are throwing him abruptly at number 3, and if he fails, that could damage his career. So from that point of view, if you have someone like Ajinkya Rahane, you might have your number 4 sorted. So this is another point from my part why Ajinkya Rahane should also be part of the India A squad.
Let me borrow from you, Shomik, as far as Shardul is concerned. And if you are making a case for Rahane, there is enough case for Shardul Thakur to also at least make India A. Yes, 15 or 16 people will go because this is a shadow tour and they will be there. You can easily sort of get them into the team whenever you want. So 18 people are not required. So and you can dovetail more people. So Shardul Thakur, Lucknow Super Giants has a very minimal chance, just like many other teams. So if Lucknow Super Giants goes out of the competition, why not send Shardul Thakur for the game on the 30th of May? That is when the first game will happen. Let me take closing comments from Bharat Ramraj and Gargi Raut for the show. Bharat, these are important questions now doing the rounds. Frankly, one of the most important tours in the history of Indian cricket. You start a WTC cycle poor, it can just go downhill. Very poor record in the last 12 months. New Zealand, Australia. You have to turn it around. Radical calls, so be it. Out of the box thinking, so be it. Left field selection, so be it. At this point in time, it is fascinating where Indian cricket is headed. Do you see some real out of the box calls, Bharat Ramraj, for the England series?
For the England series, I'm not very sure. Maybe Shardul Thakur or one of them will go, one of the senior players. But I'm not very sure they will go for out of the box selections. But that is something they should keep in mind because even if you look at Ranji Trophy currently, even if you look at India's domestic cricket, it feels as if India have a lot more talent in white ball cricket Then when it comes to 4-day cricket, that is what I feel when I look at some of the batters in domestic cricket. So maybe somewhere in the future, not now, someone like R. Smaran of Karnataka goes and gets in the 200s. Then keep an eye on him, or any other cricketer who comes to mind who suddenly does well, and the selectors feel that, yeah, this guy can straight away go and play test cricket. Then so be it. If you look at Harry Brook, he was averaging only 35 in county cricket. They picked him and is now averaging around 55, 60 in test cricket. So such kind of selections India can look at in the future. But for the England tour, I think it is pretty much set as to who is going and who is not going. That's what I feel. Feels.
Closing comments from you. I mean, if you see inspired selections have always been the story of cricket. You cannot just go defensive on a tour like this. Like, take Australia. Now, in hindsight, I think we are 100% right in saying the selectors made a mistake by sending Manav Sutar and not Shardul Thakur. Imagine Shardul Thakur in that Sydney test match on a wicket which was doing everything. He would have scored you 20 runs. He would have gotten you a couple of wickets. You did not have more than two bowlers. Once Jasprit Bumrah went out, you had Prasidh Krishna, Mohammad Siraj, job done. And you were lacking because you had a Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar on that wicket was of no use. Nitish Reddy wasn't bowling. So you made a mistake by sending a Manav Sutar and not Shardul Thakur. Thoughts?
I mean, look, when you look at Shardul Thakur, we all know that he's an all-round performer. If you talk about the wickets, he will get you those breakthroughs, and he always has. Yes, there are times when he's very expensive, but he does get you those breakthroughs, and those are very important. The other important point is, when you look back on the Australia tour, more often than not, what you were seeing was the kind of stability that Shardul Thakur gives you down the order. It is invaluable, because if you look back on Australia tour, when those top order collapses were happening, there was way too much pressure on the lower middle order to kind of ramp up the runs. And if you have a Shardul Thakur in the team who's giving you breakthroughs with the ball, who's also giving you stability in the lower middle order, that's the best thing you can have in that team. Plus, he also gives you a whole lot of experience, which is already lacking in the dressing room. So right now, it seems like the stars are aligned for a Shardul Thakur comeback. Now it's on to the selectors, honestly.
So clearly there is unanimity as far as we are. Yes, Shomik, you have the last word.
See, I think it is my personal opinion. India have already, I mean, it's not easy to handle transition. And in my opinion, India have already handled this transition badly. If, I mean, ideally, they should have, with Rohit Sharma going out, ideally, I should have liked them giving the captaincy temporarily to Virat Kohli for this series, just for England. You captain England like they brought back Pataudi in 1974-75 against the West Indies. You captain this series and at the Oval, you say goodbye. That would be a fitting farewell to a legend of the game. India wouldn't have a leadership void, and everything would have been fine. And you start your transition from the home series, which is a lot easier. So from that point of view, I think India have already handled this transition badly.
Interesting and important point. We've got to wait and see what happens. There is unanimity on the Shardul Thakur point. Shomik makes a valid point about transition and the handling of transition. We'll see what the selectors decide on doing and how India fares. But this is not one debate that's going to go away. For the moment, that's all we have. We'll be back at 5 o'clock with another live show. Gargi Raut, Shomik Chakraborty, Bharat Ramraj, to everybody watching. Thank you very much. Keep an eye on the breaking news flow that will come from us in the next few hours. Some important updates will come your way. Thank you very much for watching.